good stuff. So, where do we get started? What is the goal for today?
I guess mainly the goal for today for me would be like to get out of this. I guess would be where to start on upgrades for my Dawn Warrior, and then maybe a good plan on moving forward with Legion and taking some characters possibly into bossing mules come Destiny. I'm not super focused on that right now because I'm still like barely getting in my totems. I mean, I've been like really pushing totems. Like I'm probably gonna run out this month, definitely, just because the cube sale and then 5, 10, 15. Trying to maximize on those. So I'll definitely run out. But usually I come close or I don't run out, and then I buy them out and then I stack them.
Yep, sure. And then you try to finish them up the next month.
Yeah, endless cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that cycle a lot, and then end of the month, 12 of them expire. So I'm trying to get away from that one personally. But yeah, to varying degrees of success. I think this month I might be able to do it, but you know, it's a decent amount of work. But you're okay with doing that. So you're spending a decent amount of time playing, you would say?
Yeah, right now I would say I just finished this semester in college. I'm probably gonna end up finding like a summer job and stuff, so my time will like be a little bit be a lot less, I guess.
Yeah, depending on how hard you go on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go part-time or full-time or whatever. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go. But right now I would say I probably play like casually 8 hours a day. Like just mess around. I mean, I'm sitting at my computer for longer than that, but like I don't really, it's hard to tell how much I play because like I could be watching YouTube or doing something in Discord or, you know, playing another game, even just have MapleStory open in the background.
Sure. Okay. And did you have anything in the game that you are like, I definitely want to be able to experience this content?
So I just got taken on a normal Lucid, I guess, like practice run just to like learn the mechanics. I think, I can't remember if that was Schmidley that took me. Schmidley's the Kane, right?
Yep.
Yeah, then it was Schmidley that took me just to try to show me some of the mechanics. And then he took me in Will. That was a shit show.
Yeah. Don't worry, it is for everyone in the beginning.
There's so much information and stuff on those two bosses. There's so many mechanics and stuff that it's gonna take a little bit to learn. But I guess realistically for immediate goals for like bossing and stuff, especially after the cube sale and after 5, 10, 15, maybe before then, find a Lucid party. And that's really all my immediate goals for like bossing and stuff. I kind of take the content as it comes. Like if I hit a point where it's like, okay, I could probably move into the next content, the next boss, I will, but I don't necessarily like min max and try to push for that. It just kind of comes like I didn't like say on my Wind Archer, I didn't really know I could solo Lotus and Damien, and then I just tried it one day and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll start doing that now. It was a long run, but it was like 20 minutes each or 25 minutes each or something like that. But I ended up doing it, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll move into that content.
Yeah, and with every run you do, you'll get a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. And as you get stronger, it'll speed up as well. But then you can very measurably see when you make big upgrades and stuff, because you might have, you know, maybe you had to wait for like 3 or 4 big bursts, and now you can do it in 1 or 2, you know. And then that'll make a significant difference.
Yeah, I just did go ahead.
Well, make you feel like you're not wasting your time, I was gonna say. Like you're going somewhere, right?
Yeah. I just did a fully buffed like test on Lotus and Damien for this like just last night after reset, and I killed Lotus in 6.5 and Damien in 7 minutes on my Dawn Warrior, so wasn't too bad.
Nope. What do you mean fully buffed? That's with guild skills and everything?
That's with guild skills, like a Legion buff, like all the random like 30 attack buffs or whatever they are.
Yeah. Just like the whole bar pretty much filled with buffs, basically.
I got that candy apple in there. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. Okay. Yeah. Without the candy apple, it's not a real buff run without the candy apple. Okay. So to check, it's probably going to be like looking at like priorities for cube sale in 5.10.15, right?
Yeah. I just don't know. Like obviously I could go hard and recoup costs and stuff. Realistically, I could, if I do a totem a day, even just on the weekdays, after I got a little bit of meso gear, I could probably recoup like 7 bill, maybe a little more before 5.10.15 if I spent everything I had on the cube sale. But I just don't know if that's the right priority. Plus, I kind of have like a bunch of upgrades I want to do on my Wind Archer. It's got, so basically it was an old main and I just dumped everything into cubes and stuff. So it has a ton of legendary pots with no like stat on them.
Okay, yeah.
and then all it's I just got superior set for it, and all its Skullix gear is only like 11 stars. So I could work on that too. That's kind of where the excess money is going to go. I don't think I'm going to have enough for both characters. I'm kind of just focused on the Dawn Warrior right now. And once I guess get everything 17 star and start getting like good enough potentials, like, you know, 2-line, even 15% on uniques or whatever, just kind of getting to the point where I have to start doing a little bit more min-maxing, then I'll dump into the Wind Archer just to capitalize on the I guess easy damage potential that it has.
Yeah, because it's already paved the way there. You just need to cash in.
Yeah.
And where's the there's like lower level characters. Yeah, and then these are see the page.
Yeah, it's just because I re-uploaded that. I think if you're fresh, did I reorder? I don't think I reorganized it. Maybe I did. I don't know.
I'll refresh again. We have one page of 127 to 161 mech to the cannon master.
Those are all the lowest level ones, and then
these ones are 200 to 135.
Yeah, those are all the higher level ones. That's all of them. I do have a lot of slots left for the, I guess, like the 40 character limit for Legion. I think what do I have, like 13 or something like that. So I was kind of in the air on whether I should just spam level 70s, but I'm not a huge fan of like that like level range. So it's kind of one of those things that like maybe it would make it harder for me rather than like just like going for link skills, because I know I have to get the arc link skill. That's also one thing that I was like, maybe I'll turn that into a bossing mill, because it does look like a fun class. And then I have to get the other two Explorer Thieves for the Thief link. So that could push me to 5k pretty easily. But I don't know, I'm kind of in the air about like the way I should go about it, because like I said, I could just spam level 70s and get to just over 5k like super fast, but in the long run that'll be really annoying.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I feel like if I can get a character to at least level 100, like, and start doing the Zac Moon runs on it, like, rather than like leaving it at 70 and then trying to pick it up later, just those 30 levels like could become annoying if I have to do them later rather than like, oh, I'll just bust them out now, because realistically they only take like max an hour probably. I don't know.
Yeah, depending on the character. Yeah. Well, the idea is also kind of that once you unlock all of the link skills, then you can throw more link skills onto the 70 and make it faster as a result. But you're probably past the point where you really have more significant links to unlock. I'm assuming you have most of them.
Yeah, I gotta
like
do
the fundamental ones, right?
Well, I gotta do Evan and Mercedes.
Yeah, yeah, they're level 70. You wanna get those up to 140. Not even just for your Legion, but like for your main as well, to just speed up the whole process. Even just level 1 to level 2 links are a significant difference. Level 2 to level 3, I don't know about that. I mean, because then you're getting into the territory. Well, yeah, then you're getting into 210s, which means you want to be going for an 8k Legion to make that work, basically. Or to make that worth, I would say. So if you're just content sitting with 6k, then you can also just do a whole bunch of... Whoops. Sorry, my phone reset and I almost called the police. That's not good. Okay. Emergency call button. It was very shiny. You want to justify going for level 3 links and going for a bunch of level 200s for that S block for the Legion. And I think that like 8k Legion is a justification for that. Or the other way around, you know, like if you want to go for 8k Legion, then you go for those guys first. But if you're okay with like 6k Legion and having like a solid Legion board there, and that is already a very, very good goal, then you're okay with just like a bunch of 140s, right? All of that added up will be enough. So the level 3 link is very far away. So, but yeah, I would say Evan Mercedes level 2 link would be a good start. But yeah, just to clarify, so it was like Legion link priority, and then for Dawn Warrior just like the general path upgrading forward, and then with a little bit of emphasis on the actual cube sale that we know, and the 5, 10, 15, and then keeping in mind your Wind Archer. Are those like your main questions?
Yeah,
you would say?
Yeah, pretty much. Just for the Wind Archer, it's kind of just like any excess money after I get the Dawn Warrior to like 17 star everything, and then like at least 2 line on unique and all that, like like decent potentials. You know, I'm not trying to min max or anything. Once I get it to that point, if I throw a few bill at the Wind Archer, the Wind Archer will pretty much be, without any sales, I think I could finish it in like 5 bill. So it's not really like it's a huge money dump, but then that'll move that guy up to probably being able to do Lotus and Damien in like 10 minutes each, maybe pretty close to that, I would say.
Yep. Oh, it's because of that I was wondering if there was a screen missing with characters, because you say the Wind Archer, but I don't see the Wind Archer in here.
Yeah. Oh. I got you.
It might be the main picture, like the first page or something. Just
it is. I thought I had it like that.
But it was scrolled, so that's why that's why it's missing probably. Yeah. But
that's because I just redid it so that you could see it a little better. Yep, my fault.
No, it's okay. So those are like your main 3 questions, I guess. Do you feel like we should also go through the just all the systems in general, or do you have like a list of questions of just instances stuff to just like get clarified?
I guess like small stuff to get clarified, because I mean I use a lot of your commands and stuff, and I'm in the stream a lot, so I hear a lot of the same questions. So that's, you know, I mean it's nice because you know you get stuff clarified and you can remember it really well. But I guess like a couple of things, like, so I've been going for flames on my Dom pendant with like transposing and stuff. I just don't want to mess it up, because like you were talking about certain star forces and certain like flame scores and stuff on that. Like I just don't know what I should be like looking for. Obviously like the luck flame that I got the other day, I'm just gonna assume that that's like really good. But unfortunately I'm not a luck class.
Oh yeah, I think you was it like 72 and 6 or something?
72 and 6.
Yeah.
It's not on that Dom pendant. I have the 2 extra that I've just been throwing flames on.
Yeah, that is beyond what you would regularly look for. Some people would say like you need a 68 and 6 or something. Some people are okay closer to like a 60 and 6. I mean, it comes down to like the whole calculation for flame score and how much you want to min max. Have you looked at the flame command specifically?
Yeah, I've tried to look at the calculator, but it really didn't. It kind of confused me a lot, because it wanted you to enter in like, oh, you want this much stat, this much attack, and this much like percentage stat. But like for me, it's just like I don't really care how I get it. I just want the score. You know what I mean? Like I don't really care what it looks like. But it just doesn't let you enter it like that, or it doesn't like work properly, I guess.
I see what you mean. So there's like the calculator for the score, and there's the calculator for the cost, and I think you were talking about the cost calculator, right?
Yes. Yeah, the cost calculator.
Yeah. So if you start, so you know how the scores work and where that all comes from? That's all clear?
Yeah, I've just been, for percent stat, I've just been doing 9%. I don't know if that's the right metric for like my class or my area of progression, but I just know that's like a really common metric, so I've kind of just
that's typically more of an end game metric. But if you are transposing, then you are trying to plan for the end game, so that makes sense to count it as such. If you are more like, you know, like I'm maybe ever going to get 250, but possibly not, you're more of a casual player, you don't put as many hours in, then you can more comfortably look at the late game calculator, and then you can technically get a little bit more value comparatively out of attack and a little bit less out of all stat, but it's still very close. If you want to know those metrics, you can put in here, right, like normal, class, dex, and I guess it's a little bit hidden, but you can technically put the numbers in, and you can see, like, see this is 10 to 1, so that's the same thing as that would come in here. This is 1 to 1, right, because it redirects to dex. This one is 3 if you're looking at endgame and you're looking at dex main class, and then this one will be looking at 9. So as long as you make this consistent with this, if you're trying to calculate for the same thing, then you're good. If you, you know, if you don't use this calculator but use something else, then you would need to, you know, change this back to 8, for example, or, you know, some people are further in the game and it's like unironically an 11 for them or something, and then it's just, it makes more sense to do that because otherwise you're comparing apples and oranges, right? So when it comes to the Dominator pendant, usually advised between 105 and 115. The reason for that is kind of like it's acceptable and it makes it so that it, you know, it can kind of compete with hold you over not needing the magic eye patch to drop from Damien, right? And if you look at the cost, it also kind of makes sense. So you can put other armor, red flames, right? 140 to 159, flame advantaged, 9 for 1% all stat, 3 for an attack, and 10 secondary stat equals 1. And then you could put here, for example, like, let's say that we do aim for the 105, you can kind of set the budget. Like the expected cost is anywhere, so median 1.7, average 2.5. So median is if you do like a single item, you're usually closer to the median. If you do a bunch of items, then you want to count on the average, you know, across the board because of outliers and such. You can see how many flames that is, but that's a kind of irrelevant, you know, the cost number means more here. So if you're like, this is actually pretty cheap, like I'm definitely willing to spend this, then you can go a little bit higher. Some people will aim for like 115 at least. So again, you can go back to this, right? So if you get like the 72 and 6 comparison, that's a 126. So if you put a 126 in here, you can see what that value is of that flame if that was your stat that you wanted. So that's median cost 30 bill, average up to 44, which is probably way more than you would be willing to spend, right?
Yeah.
So that 115, that's like hovering around, you know, like 6. Some people are like, this is still peanuts for me because I'm farming on Akana, I make so much money, this item is going to stick with me forever because, you know, magic eye patch, yada yada. I'm at least going to go for like a 120. You know, the harder you go, one extra score is going to start adding a lot of extra costs. So basically, you know, at a certain point, you're just doubling your cost for one extra stat. And it's totally up to the person when to go. If you're like, this is too low, you want to go for 118 or something, then you can technically, you know, you can go back here and you can be like, okay, how can I get this to 118? Oh, it's 8 lower, so something like 64 and a 6, for example. Or, you know the number, so if it was like close to 73 and 5 or something, would also be 118, right? And then you can start fidgeting with the numbers. Does that explain your question?
Yeah, I would say so. That's I don't think I've seen that page before.
This one?
The one. Yeah. The one where you're like entering it in. I think I've only been on the cost calculator. That one. I think
yeah.
That's. Yeah, I don't think I've been on like the flame score calculator for like the classes and stuff like that. So that's something I definitely need to look at.
Yeah, so there are more ways, and he says here as well, use my stat equivalent calculator to determine the ratios for your character. You can like throw it all into a giant calculator and be like, how much is it for me? But I would advise against that because the flame score and everything is based on the balance of your account. And if you do it for you right now, when your character's still in development, you could end up with a bad rate and with a flame that's actually worse than what you calculated it for, because your stats are still going to be moving in the direction that this calculator already takes account for. But if you are completely in the end game and you're trying to min-max for your situation, you're like, there's not much going to be moving around anymore, and I want to take account for the little differences, like my weapon attack might be a little bit lower, so attack comparatively might be a little bit more value, and you want to start working with commas and everything. You'd be like, oh, my magic attack is actually like 2.876 or something, and my all stat I calculated is actually like 12.34 or something, right? And then you can start getting like very, very specific. And then you can start min-maxing in that even clearer. And then you can put that number again, throw that in here. I don't think you can use commas here though. Yeah, no, they want you to use discrete numbers. And then you can see like, what is my budget for that? And then in that sense, you can look at where do I rank this upgrade in the upgrades that I'm willing to do based on how much is it gonna cost me expectedly. So these tools can help each other basically, but this one is a little bit more fleshed out already immediately and doesn't require the extra work of putting in all your stats in your entire account into a giant calculator that will then shit you out how much exactly it is, right? Because if you do this, then you can get the exact numbers, but it's more work. Plus, if anything moves, you have to redo it. And with flames, you don't want to have to redo them, right? You want to kind of know how good they're going to be, and then, you know, have that faith in the calculations and then lock them in because you're transposing, so they're going to be locked in, right? So that's why it's good to plan for the future. Put it on end game, and then if you're not sure how much the score is, just throw it in there. But yeah, like you said, you take about 9 for all stat, add it to your stat. Tech times 3 if you have it. Secondary stat divide by 10. Add it all together. Boom. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've pretty much, I guess for the Dom pendants and stuff, like, just because I have the extra ones, I've kind of just been throwing every flame I get on them, because I think all my flames are at a point where, like, it could get a lot worse before they get better on most things. So it's just like I could stack them, I guess, and go for broke on an equip, but I just see that as the best option right now. I guess the safest option, maybe not the best option. But that kind of leads me into my next question. What do you think would be... So I'm coin capping on 3 characters: my Wind Archer, my Night Lord, and my Dawn Warrior. I already bought the 4 rings that I need on my Dawn Warrior. What should I guess, possibly be focusing on for the coin shop? Like, are the symbols really worth it at my stage? Because I feel like it's like, I don't know. I feel like it takes so many symbols to level up. Level up one of my symbols right now that it's not exactly like super cost efficient. But then again, I don't know where else to be spending my coins.
So you bought out the nodes?
Yeah, I already bought out the nodes. I bought out the boost nodes, or experience nodes, I should say. I bought out the red flames in the wish shop. And then I started buying out the Eternals. I think I only have like 10 more.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna coin stack on my Wind Archer, I think, and just buy out all the reds and the rainbows in the regular coin shop, which I want to say is like I want to say it's like 6k coins or something like that to get them all. Maybe 7. Can't remember.
Communal shop, right? Oh, EXP buff, guys, get it if you're training. 1.5 and 4.5. Yeah, so 6 combined between these two. Yeah.
6, yeah. Okay. And I just don't think the blacks are something that I mean,
nah, that's not something to worry about. No.
Yeah, it's and then the cubes, I just don't feel like especially with the cube sale coming up, I just don't feel like I'm getting that much value. Oh, I guess I have to buy out the growth potions, but that's just that's what I was stacking for on my Night Lord, and that's only 6k. I think I did the math on the event, and with Sunny Sundays included, but no extra like coins, like no Legion Gardening or anything. It's like, let's say it's like 12 point something k coins or something like that. It's either 12 or 14k, I can't remember, but it's like it's a lot if you coin cap every day.
8 days, 56, 5.6. It's basically 56 days worth times 300, so you're at 16.8k.
Oh, 16k? Okay, even more than I thought.
But that's if you never miss a day. That doesn't mean that you can miss a day every now and then and still be fine, right? Yeah, if you have all those things, covered, and you don't want to buy any, you know, like, well, the rings, right? What were you planning on doing for the rings for the other characters?
So I guess just find a couple. So I have 2 of the synergy rings right now. One's on my Night Lord, and one's on my Dawn Warrior. I'll probably just leave the one on the Night Lord, like that'll become like, you know, gear for it. And then I I haven't really decided. I'm probably just gonna dump 3 more onto like random characters because I don't really have any characters right now that I exactly like want to make bossing mules. I guess I mean I enjoy playing a lot of characters, but I just don't really like
None of
in
them
the
stood
immediate
out,
future.
like,
Yeah.
or you don't see yourself having the time to maybe go do them, depending on your summer job. Might be a little bit stressed for time, and then you might do all the investments, but you can't really find the time to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I've been kind of weighing the costs right now, and versus like, because once I get them there, like I definitely have the time to run the bosses, which might be better for me if I actually have less time instead of doing totems. But I also, I don't know like if that's the most cost efficient for right now because I'm still upgrading like pretty heavily on my Dawn Warrior. I did buy out the Honor XP. I was gonna ask you about that, but I just sent it because we have a 50% off this Sunday, and I only have top Meso line on my Dawn Warrior, so I was gonna try to go for. I mean, I have like 500k or 600k or something like that, so it's not that much, but I was gonna go for if I got
Get
like,
anything useful. Yeah, exactly.
a drop line, a boss line. If I got crit rate, cool, because that's end game. But like, I'm not really shooting for that.
Damage to debuffed or something.
Yeah, abnormal
like
status.
those.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anything useful, yeah, for sure.
Are you setting a bottom there on when you would stop? Because you are looking for like a mid-game roll on that, so I would advise to set like a bottom and not to just donkey roll everything away. Because that's going to slow you down for getting to like an end inner ability, right?
Okay.
I would
So
keep
you're saying just,
keep
like-
a buffer, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'll pretty much like settle like pretty quickly. I'm not too I don't have too much issue with like, oh, if I first roll like 12% drop, like I'll just keep it. Like I don't really, you know what I mean? Like most people or some people, where some people would be like, it's not.
Well, that's
15.
a unique line, I think. So I would keep that. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably say like looking for maybe an epic line drop, like an 8 or a 9% would probably also already be good, right?
Yeah, that'd be pretty helpful as well.
But yeah, I wouldn't look more than, I wouldn't spend more than half, probably like 200k max or something I would spend probably.
Yeah, I think that's a good amount of rolls because I think it's, what is it, like 16 if you like lock the top line, and then it'd be 8 in the event. So
yeah, to be honest, dude, I still have like the old prices in my head because I'm boomer. So I can check now, I guess. Oh no, it's 8k now, so it would be 4 on the. Oh no, wait, yeah, that's without locking. Hang on, yeah, it goes to 11. Yeah, so 5.5 on the roll.
oh, okay, so that's not that bad. So I could realistically roll like 50 times. Like I'm bound to get at least something like in that time, you know?
Like 40 times. Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I think you can get like an epic drop or something. Just anything of value, and then, you know, hold on to that and then start saving for the 250 plus, 255 or something, reworking when you're trying to get the Lotus and Will runs down to fewer people on a hard mode, and you're trying to do like Tenebris stuff and you really want to get a bit more bang for your buck. Or if you don't need it, then, you know, that's still fine and you can just keep making Mezzo the whole way through. You know, whatever damage your account needs at that point, right? If you do get enough stronger that it's not a point of contention there, then you can just sit on the current inner ability and just make even more honor experience.
Yeah.
How do we get here? Oh yeah, event shop. Yeah, so did you have a plan for rings? And you had already a plan to buy out flames, and you were going to buy out with the other character, what was it again? Oh, the growth potions, yeah. So one for growth pots, one for flames, and then you have room for a few rings on each, right?
Yeah, my Wind Archer definitely doesn't need any rings. It already has a Cosmos and an SS, and then Superior and Reinforced, and then some like other like random like event rings or something like that. So it's got enough.
Yep.
It's got a lot of like Meso gear too right now, so I can cube some of that into just a drop line for like some of the easier weekly bosses just to maximize on those. So
what level is the window, sure?
I reposted in there.
I see. Yeah,
236, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's at the point where it can start capitalizing on the boss clearing, and it doesn't necessarily need those lines anymore if you're not planning on training. Yeah.
Yeah, I was when I first, because my Dawn Warrior is only like maybe like 2.5 months old. So when I first started playing on it, I was using the Wind Archer to like meso farm at least like the first few builds just to get it going, so
Yep.
it could like one shot and stuff. But after it could one shot, even though its rates were bad, I was just like, all right, well we'll just use it for XP, and then I'll eventually be
Yep.
able to get the meso.
And you don't have right now Meso Gear and the Dawn Warrior, right? Just that one pendant.
Just that, yeah, the greed pendant.
Was that an active choice so far? Because you were like, if I want to make money, I'll just go on the Wind Archer, and if I want to gain levels, I go on the Dawn Warrior kind of thing.
So right now it was kind of just like I was saving because I knew there was events coming, and then the cube sale came, and I was like, well, it's just silly to re-roll stuff. And then I can't. That was like 2 weeks ago that I rolled that, and I didn't have a lot of meso, so I was just like, okay, well, I'll keep this. I mean, I'm not gonna get any other meso gear right now, so it helps me in some form or fashion. So
no,
just
for sure.
silly,
I
like,
think it's a very
re-rolling it for now.
Yeah, no, but yeah, usually I would advise to most people, especially if you're like, destroying your not destroying. I don't know how I got to that word, but if you're committing to one character and you don't have like a kind of farm on the side, and you're not playing like 80 hours a week or something, it makes sense to me at least to always go for meso and drop rate combination on the main character that you're playing a lot, so that you can squeeze out those better rates when you're throwing up totems, right? And for very far into the game, as long as your weapon, secondary, and emblem are solid, and your nodes aren't absolute dog shit, and everything else is just following suit, and you're working on your symbols and everything, then the accessories don't really need to do damage. The only reason that you would want them to is if you want to kill the bosses ahead of time. But it makes more sense to go for the Mesor drop first, make a lot of money, then have a lot of money lying around when the events come around, and then go hard on the events, and then make your very strong, specifically damage gear versus drop rate gear.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of like, I think I have 10 more rare familiars and then 20 epic familiars that I'm basically, my goal for staying in like Esfera, like the red spiders, is gonna be, I don't have that picture in there, but is gonna be essentially just leveling all those up to unique. I know it's gonna take a long time, but I figure hopefully I could get at least a large item drop rate or something by then. Obviously it's all RNG, but that's kind of my goal for that area. And then by that time I'll probably be like 246, maybe 247, just depending on how the EXP rates diminish. But so kind of going for
Moving
that.
into Boombridge then.
Yeah.
Wait,
Honestly, don't really know where the next.
Why do you have a rare line on the bottom line of a unique? That's kind of scammed.
I know. That's why. You
Why is
see
it
the
not
name on it?
Yeah, TTP
It's called
trolling.
TTP.
I don't know why it's not. Why is it not a large amount? What the fuck? But
It's
yeah,
a
I would.
60% line though, technically.
Oh yeah,
better
probably
than
yeah.
nothing, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because there's an epic line of drop rate for 60, and there's a rare one for 50. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not ideal, but
I usually advocate for just mass making epics first until you get that large drop, and then once you have the large drop, then using it, and then making mass uniques for more big chunk IED healing, boss damage, those kind of guys.
yeah.
But
I think, like,
you do what you want. I just like the power in numbers in the beginning, just like quantity over quality in the beginning, just to rush them out, and then once you have the large drop, then you can hard commit for the quality over the quantity kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I get where you're coming from. I don't disagree with that. I think kind of for me, it's just like I have so many. I already have like 20 epics, I think, crafted and stuff. So I'm kind of at the point where it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna start running out of room if I keep crafting epics. So
well, you can throw the epics back into like rares to make more epics, right? Because every next epic you make that's not the one you want is gonna have to turn into unique anyway, and every unique that you make is gonna get thrown into another epic to turn into unique again anyway. You might hold on to a few uniques, in case red cards come falling from the heavens at some point, but other than that, like the extra epics that you've revealed and that are shit, they just go back into the meat grinder, right?
Yeah.
Because they're basically worthless.
Yeah, I guess I haven't gotten I've gotten probably a few thousand familiars stuff. I guess I would have had to, but I probably like in the 3,000 range, give or take, maybe 3,500. It's like I haven't mass produced that many familiars, so for me it's kind of like one of those things that's like, oh, it's so like new that it's like it's tough to just like cycle through right now. I don't know, but then it is more costly to upgrade them to uniques, especially without the large drop rate. So I understand what you're saying.
Well, Aqua says I would not throw epics into rares, but what if you have like 30 rares in your inventory and it's like completely full? Don't you just throw those into rares to make more epics first? Like, are you really on the the borderline of making 30 uniques next moment? Like, unless you're sitting on like 50,000 cards or something, right?
Yeah. No. Well, I just have I have 10 rares that I'm leveling up right now. I just kind of do it in segments. So I have 10 rares that I'm leveling up right now, and then those are all going to go into epics. And then I guess I don't really have a good reason. I guess it's kind of just like mini goals. I don't know.
Feeling.
Yeah, I don't know, just like a mini goal, and then like obviously uniques have a lot less like really stupid lines, like turning your character red or whatever.
Yeah, they still have that though.
Yeah.
Black outline, whatever the fuck. Yeah, shadowy.
And the top end lines are like better, right? Like the prime lines or whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
So that's kind of also too like just like little things that I could do that doesn't really too much affect my growth right now, but I can also like prep it for like later game. Just the way I see it. It's a super fine line to dance, because it's like if I did have the large drop rate, but also that's a big if, because there's people that open like 200 epics and don't even see it.
For sure.
So it's I don't know. That's
and there's a chance
and
for the large drop rate on your second line on unique as well. So there's not like it's impossible, right? But there is the thing as well that hitting a early, well, ID wise you're fine. Your set window, that's with the familiar summon, right? Or
yeah, that's with the familiars.
Yeah. Because you are decent at the ID there. I wonder if
that's with the hasty title, and then 20 on the 20% as well on the current event. However, I took off my secondary and emblem, and that's 60%, and I only went down to like just shy of 95, I think, with my familiars on, or just over 95. So that's with 60 gone, and I only have 50 from events. So
if you're at 95, then a 30% gives you about 1.5. Yeah. So you have a 30 and 35, so you're probably at 94 something, I'm guessing. Yeah, close to 95.
Yeah, and that's without the luminous link. I don't really need it right now, so I have to get off.
Exactly. Well, I
don't even think I'll need it after the events are gone.
You quote unquote need it, but you need it to be able to take pressure off of your lines on your emblem and secondary and be able to roll for more damage there later. Basically, once the damage becomes quote-unquote free on those other sources, that means that you're min-maxing in your weapon and your secondary and your emblem can be turned up a notch, basically.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what they are good for sure. And then, of course, the Golic set and the bigger Legion, once those IDs come in, then probably the ID from the familiars can go away, or you hold the ID from the familiars and completely roll out of all the ID in your emblem and your secondary and just go full attack on boss. And then if eventually you make more ID because of all the little sources that trickle in, full board, like the Lumi, the Link skills, the Explorer mages, like all of that stuff.
And the Legion. And
yeah, exactly. And then by that point, maybe that ID familiar can also just be completely replaced by boss. And then maybe you have someone in your party that gives a little bit of ID. There's a bunch of characters that do. And then with that, you should be at the functional ID that you want to be eventually.
Yeah, I know it's like on my weapon or my secondary and emblem, I definitely can re-roll those, but I just couldn't justify it right now because every line is technically useful on both of them. Like the crit rate caps me out without using like a bunch of extra stuff, like without putting anything on my Legion. and without putting too many like hyperstat or hyperstat points. I just have to put 4 in, which isn't bad at all. So it's kind of where I was at with those, and I just felt like it wasn't super cost efficient to re-roll those. So now I'm sitting on an absurd amount of IED.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's kind of where my Dell went as well. In the beginning, just like slamming them up to legendary, seeing if I get just 2 useful lines. Basically, I would have kept exactly what you have, or I kept even a little bit worse than that, I think. And then you just like squeeze out the levels. You can destroy all the bosses around your level because you've got the solid fundamentals. But then once the familiars start coming in, then you can start moving stuff around. And between the legions of familiar and the legion grid, the member bonuses, the hyperstats, and the familiars are basically trying to move around the puzzles because those are your flexible parts, and your WSE is your very inflexible part. So if you can move the flexible parts around to fit and create more space for your inflexible parts to have more outs so that you can have a higher chance of rolling an upgrade, then that's the way forward if you're looking for big damage impacts. Yeah, because your ID is definitely very high now, so there's at least one item. But yeah, again, like you said, like which one do you reroll? Do you reroll the one that has 12 attack and 9 strength already and has worse variance, or the one that has better variance but that you kind of rely on the crit rate now? And are you using decent sharp eyes?
Yeah.
To get to and that gets you to 100, to 100 exactly with the critical rate.
Yes.
And you're not using any crit from the event, I'm assuming, since you're already at 100 here.
No crit from the event.
Yeah.
And then no crit at all in the Legion. I mean, I guess like the characters that give it.
Members, yeah. Marksman, Night Lord.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna start using the Punch King potions to get my Beast Tamer to level 3 Link.
Okay.
So that'll give me 3 more crit there, so I can take some more off the links, or not the links, the
hyperstats.
Hyperstats, if I wanted to. I mean, it's not really that cost efficient. It doesn't give me that much back in points because it's such low levels, but.
Well, the jump is probably to getting even more hyperstats and then getting rid of the crit in the emblem, and then that frees up your emblem completely, basically. Because then that turns your emblem into a 1-line item, and then it's just free. Then you can just start rolling. Even like a line of like damage and attack together would already be an upgrade then, because the IED functionally isn't doing as much for you anymore, and the critical rate is outscaled at that point.
Yeah. And then also I'm getting the reinforced Gallic set. Like you have like 200 something coins or whatever.
Well, you getting reinforced?
Yeah, reinforced. I'm just because I already have the 3 sets, so I mean, I know like long term technically it's not as like cost efficient, but
yeah, I would advise against it, honestly. Because yeah, it's a short term bump, but it's superior or nothing essentially with that set. And the more reinforced you get, the more you're just slowing down yourself getting too superior.
Yeah, I just see it as like a huge like increase with like boss damage and stuff like that. It's gonna be like helpful in the short term.
But what do you need help with in the short term? Like, what is a boss right now that you're struggling with?
I guess like moving into like Lucid, but I guess that's just because I'm bad.
Well, you're still sitting on the 17 star stuff, right? Nothing is 17 yet, so bumping everything to 17 is already going to be significant.
Yeah.
And you've got some potential still to work on, like like the Abso potential can definitely get like a bump. That plus, yeah, well, you say you're bad, I say requiring practice, that will help a lot. And possibly, what is the eye that you're using? Yeah, that's 12 on Epic. It's gonna depend on some stuff. I think might be some flame work that can help you out, but we don't want to go overboard on temp items.
Yeah.
But I just think the reinforced set is just a total trap to fall into. I would just like stay strong, hold, and go in on superior.
That's fair. I just started being able to, I guess like pretty easily I can clear it with like the guild skills and stuff for the main guild now.
You're talking about Helix now, right?
Yeah, I can clear Helix. I have like I think like 3 reinforced belts. If I wanted to, I mean, if like for whatever reason I wanted to go straight into like a 20-star soupy belt,
You can also hold the pink bean belts for that, right? But yeah, you have the 17 already and unique, so you probably want to go to the route of the reinforced, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I already have 3 of them, and it's going to take me weeks upon weeks to get the rest of the superior stuff. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think because how much is a reinforced? Like 400, right? So you're setting yourself back.
450 versus 7 for the superior.
Yeah, you'd get more damage, but 450 is how many runs? Is like 18 runs or something?
Yeah, if you get like 20, I think I said average like 25 a run. I don't know if that's like too high.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like 2.5 weeks slower to get to the full set, but if it makes you stronger enough that you can unlock more content, and maybe if you're not in a super rush, maybe. But yeah, in general, there's a reason why people don't do it anymore. Because it's just superior or bust, basically.
That's fair. I guess I'll probably just go for the pendant first, so I can replace the 15-star. What's it called? The 15-star mech pendant. Just so I can 17-star the pendant. Because like I already have like event rings and stuff, so those are pretty comparable to 17-star, just shy. Not comparable to a 17-star superior, but
well, comparable to 17-star superior, as long as it doesn't have the set bonus. Without the set bonus, the superior stuff is even all of the Golic stuff is kind of garbage, honestly. It's the set bonus that just makes it so incredibly strong.
Yeah. Just like the weapon attack and stuff is close, but like the stat is like 60 something.
Yeah, it's nuts. Then you need the pieces, yeah. Okay, do you feel like the questions that you've asked so far were all answered? Because we have meandered a little bit from one topic into the other one, so I want to make sure that you're feeling like everything is being taken care of, and that we didn't like leave some topics unanswered.
No, I would say I'm pretty good.
Well, I want to get from pretty good to really good. Okay, we want to get solid. We're here now.
Yeah, I would say I'm good on everything. It's just like we're just like kind of skipping through stuff, which I don't mind.
It's no, I don't mind it either. But if at the end of the session you're like, oh fuck, I had like 3 more questions and this wasn't actually completely addressed because we kind of went off on a tangent, I would hate to have that happen. So trying to, not say like we can't have fun here, but make sure that what you did come here to do, that we do get those bases covered, and then we can talk about whatever the hell we want when that's done.
Yeah, I think I'm just taking the questions as they come. You know what I mean? Like if I see something or you bring something up that arises a question, because I didn't really. I was gonna like write stuff down, but I'm like, I don't know. It'll all come up, like, and maybe I'll get other stuff that I need without like focusing too much on like the random stuff. Because I didn't have like I said, I use a lot of your commands and stuff, and I'm in the stream a lot, so I learn a lot already. Not saying I know everything, not even close, but
we have had sessions when people are like, oh yeah, I've read everything, I kind of already know everything, and then we go through the session and I kind of have to explain everything still. So I'm always hesitant when someone says that. I'm like, I'm not saying, like, I'm not accusing you of anything, but just because you say that doesn't mean I'm still, usually I want to double check just to make absolutely sure.
Well, yeah, I'd rather ask it again than and get the same answer that I already had.
Yeah.
And be super sure on
have
it,
it confirmed.
Than like, for sure. Is that really what it is?
Like, I think that's what it is. That's why whatever people in the session also say, like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure, or like, oh yeah, I think I know. It's like, well, know that you know, because I'm here now, so you can ask me whatever. Just until there's like no doubt left, you're like, okay, this is how it is. Boom, next thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had the topic of Legion. Does everything with Legion and the characters and how to go build your grid, is that all clear?
Yeah, that all makes sense. It's something that's pretty, I feel like pretty like set. Like it's not like super like variants and stuff, so it's not really confusing, I guess. But like, kind of the way I've been doing it, I don't know. You can say it's wrong if you think there's a better way or whatever. I guess wrong isn't the right word, but more efficient.
Suboptimal or something.
Yeah. So what I've been doing is I've been looking at my links and seeing like, okay, I should really have a level 2 link here. Like, say for example, I'm gonna go for the level 6 thief link soon, maybe next week. At least work on one of them next week. So I've been getting him to at least level 100 if I really don't like it. Then doing Zakum, and then with my highest level Zakum character, I've been doing Monster Park on it, the 7 runs, just to expedite the process. Now I do the Sunday runs on my Dawn Warrior. Now again, I don't really need the ID, but it's still best in slot title or not title badge, yeah.
You're looking for the medal to do your bosses on Sunday, so you can have that one.
The medal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's technically best in slot. Eventually I'll go for the 7-day, but in the short term I think this is going to boost up my Legion a lot more, and which is going to be more beneficial.
Every single run is a free level early on, or maybe even a little bit more than a level early on. Yeah, it's totally free for sure.
So I just find this pretty efficient and not like super time consuming on leveling leveling the characters.
As long as you keep doing the runs and you get the coins and you get the potions, then you're missing out on very little. You're just slowing down your progression to the 7-day, like you said, but that you can always circle back to that later.
Yeah. I guess that's the way I've been going with those, and I don't know if you had any ideas on that or anything like that.
General Legion leveling stuff. Well, you said you didn't really feel much for the approach of just like, you know, throwing out a whole bunch of level 70s. I get that. And I guess the feeling of the thing with Legion is I just always advise people just like, well, not necessarily slow and steady, but just steady, you know, whatever is fast or slow for you, whatever you can handle, but just steady. So like you want to make, you know, want to make 2 new characters per week, that's fine. You want to make 2 per day, that's fine too. But until you get to that 40 total characters, I would say like set a number that makes sense to you, like make 1 every 2 days, 1 every 3 days, whatever. But even which is like, let's say you make 1 every 3 days, okay, so and then in 1 month you'll have your 40 characters. That way it makes it seem way more like you're having a constant progress in the whole system, rather than I'm gonna make 1 now, then I'm not gonna make 1 for 3 days or for 3 weeks, then I'm gonna make like 4 in a day, then burn out on it, then have no fun with it, you know. If it's more like something that you kind of see as a weekly or as a daily for some people, once you hit that 40, you're like, okay, I do those Zakum runs, I do those Monster Park runs, but now I don't need to scale up anymore and go like to 40 to 45 to 50 to 55. But once you have those 40, you can kind of, you know, take the foot off the gas for that, and know that those are where you can get your levels, and that 6K will come very, very soon after that. And then you have way more freedom to move stuff around, because again, the freedom to move stuff around can be nice, because what if I don't know, you re-roll your emblem and you roll like 2-line attack, 1-line damage on it or something. It's like, okay, now you might be a little bit lower on IED, when then you can move your boss damage over to your IED. In your current stage, that might be not enough, maybe, right, in the situation, because you don't have that extra space in the IED. But once you hit the next one, once you hit the 5K, maybe then it can be enough, and then maybe moving a little bit of boss into ID can actually improve your damage. So that freedom can give you the space. And as well, if you're working on new characters, I don't know if you're doing this for new character. Do you have like an alternate setup for your Legion? This is a second setup, right? Does the first one go into crit rate, crit damage?
It's crit damage and bonus XP. And then it has so it's like right at the top, and then it has attack on the left, and then like whatever. Well, I guess that's either attack or magic attack on the left, and then stat on the right for whatever character.
So that's your mobbing setup, you would say, for your Dawn Warrior mostly, right?
Yeah, I had another setup, but I just didn't feel like buying it anymore. I probably should. Well, I guess it's just because I haven't really been working on Legion in the past like week or so, and you know, circling back to you talking about like a steady like pace, like I don't disagree with that. I was doing like a character every other day. However, with the events coming up, I just prioritized.
Yeah, you reprioritize. I get that.
Yeah, I reprioritized, and I've just been doing totems on my Dawn Warrior and trying to maximize income and stuff on that. So my Legion has taken a halt because of that. Yeah. But it's not necessarily a long-term halt by any means. A
pause, you know? Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. I would say for Legion, especially if you're kind of feeling like those new level ranges, like around 70 is kind of shitty, and about the progress there, I think you will see a lot better progress on the characters if instead of bonus EXP you put that in crit rate instead, because those characters are just going to be smacking monsters for way longer, and that's going to give you way more bonus EXP than filling out the bonus EXP can. I honestly think for most people 6K is like the earliest where you want to start putting things into bonus EXP, but probably once you get closer to 8 only just because the efficiency is so low. It's 1% additive percentage for 4 pieces, right? And always make this comparison, like if you have a 0 and you put the level 200 block of 0 on the board, that's the same amount of bonus EXP as filling out the entire 40 spaces of the bonus EXP on the grid. Like comparatively, that's the same value. And if instead of getting that 10% extra EXP, that's not 10% multiplicative, but it's like, you know, maybe in total it's like 6% extra or something, you know, with all the sources that you have. Instead of that, you can increase your critical rate, and you can essentially, you know, increase your damage by like 80% and keep one-shotting for 20 more levels. That'll end up being way more experience in the same amount of time, especially once you start throwing like totems at characters. But that's more if you're going from like 140 to 200, right? You're like committing more big blocks of time rather than just switching maps every 5 minutes to get up to level 100. But I think you can always try it out, right? You can just like switch them around, throw into critical rate, and see if leveling the lower level characters goes faster. Because if you do have 8 hours a day and you're doing totems and you're capping on other characters, I feel like there should be some time in there maybe to still work on Legion, at least every other day, you know, just to throw in a character there. Because then you could be by June, you could at least be done with those 40 characters. And also, you know, you make some 141s here and there, get those storm growth potions going. I don't know if you had a plan for those and like where to throw them. I guess you're just continuing like the 160s, 170s.
Are you talking about the? Yeah. So
sorry, the extreme growth potions. Yeah, not storm growth. My bad.
So right now, I guess I was just gonna bonk the Corsair to 200 just because it's close. I don't mind leveling Wild Hunters, so I was probably just gonna level a Wild Hunter to 200. I have 2 of them. I don't know. And then go from there. So my Night Lord, I was gonna change it. It was originally a dual blade. I was gonna possibly change it back to a dual blade and try to use it for a bossing meal eventually. So I think my next character would be getting the mechanic to 141. It's like 127 or something like that. But getting that to 141 and then bonking that as close as I can to 200, and then possibly finishing it off during Destiny, because I'm assuming we're probably gonna have at least a couple here and there. I mean, you get some in the daily gifts or whatever every like week or so.
Yeah.
But
and there's a Terra Burninator as well to take an existing character up to level 200.
Okay, I don't want to train mechanic, and I hate mechanic.
So something you are okay with training that's like, you know, at the lower regions, but you want to definitely get to 200 or 210, and that you are okay with training. That's going to be a prime candidate. And then there's also going to be benefits in Destiny for creating explorers. So if there are explorers you don't have, how are you with the explorer mages? Because I see a bishop here. You have the other ones?
I have the other 2 are level 120 something.
Oh yeah, 124 and 124.
Yeah, I did all of those last week, I think.
Okay.
I did the bishop to 140 because it was pretty easy.
Yeah, Holy Symbol gives you so much experience.
And then the other ones just went into the Zakum rotation at level 100.
Okay. Makes sense.
So yeah,
Demon Slayer could be one maybe.
Yeah, I don't mind Demon Slayer. It's you know, it's got interesting mechanics. I'm not a huge fan of like gauge classes though. It's not quite on the level of like other like actual like gauge classes.
Yeah, you get used to it.
It's more of like it's more of like an MP, like more like Kana and stuff. Like I don't hate Kana either, but
yeah, it's a little bit more you get a little bit more railroaded into it, but you do have the hyperstat, right, which gives you a little bit extra mobility, and then you have some skills where it's like, okay, now we have unlimited mana for a while, or you have one skill that basically recovers a whole bunch on a pretty short cooldown that you can just spam, and then once you get used to the character, it's not that big of a deal, and people can keep certain buffs up the whole time. I'm mentioning Demon Slayer because if it's a character you don't mind training, it's already like around 100. It has, you know, one of the best link skills in the game at level 3. Plus, it's going to be a super strong bossing mule if you're ever trying to scale up on that. If you're looking for something to Terra Burn, I think, or like with a Terra Burninator, right? That seems like a very good, like a candidate. Or it could always be like the Evan and the Mercedes, so just to get them up to 200 so you can squeeze out those last 10 levels for level 3 link as well. But then Evan maybe, but I don't know about Mercedes having like not Project Series, sorry, but like bossing mule qualities. I'm gonna do Project Simulator with it today. That's why I'm saying that. But yeah, I'm not sure how that's gonna go. We'll see.
Yeah, look, have fun with that. I don't know. I had a like I played Barra for a little while. I think I have like 4K Legion over there. That was where I like started like playing MapleStory and stuff for like since like I don't think I played like pre-Big Bang or anything like that. I just can't remember. I mean, I'm 22, so the game came out when I was like, I don't know, like 2. I think it came to the US, right? Or something like that.
Okay.
So I don't really remember when I started playing, but I think I was like 8 or 9 or something like that. So that's when I started over on Barrow. But I don't know. I didn't really learn too much over there. it's kind of waste a lot of money and then be like, oh, this game sucks. And then come to Reboot and be like, oh, this is how you play.
It's a different approach. I mean, you're looking at the same types of pixels, but it is a different game essentially.
Whole different game, yeah. As for the burning characters, so I'm glad that you said we do get a Terra Burninator, because I was talking to some other people and they never heard of that, like having a Terra Burninator. So we didn't like that. I was just like, oh, I guess we'll just get Terra Burn then. But
yeah, well, I mean, to be 100% clear, I'm not saying that we will get that. I'm just saying there's a very high chance because it was in Korea, yeah.
It's like classes that I'm gonna make and probably take past 200 for Destiny. Definitely Buck. It looks fun. I really like the class the way it is now. I mean, it's not really changing too much, but I don't. Again, I'm not a gauge guy, so it literally that instantly turned me off. Like I just
the energy
was like, I can't,
system thing. Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of it. It's just, it's restricting. I don't like it. It's just, I play a 2D side-scrolling game to come to simplicity. You know, to relax and not like have to sweat. You know.
Yeah. I get it, yeah. It's definitely for, I think pretty much all the classes that have that kind of system, though, it's just a startup problem where you have to just learn to deal with it. Once you do, and you know the restrictions, because you've run into them dozens of times, it doesn't feel as restricted anymore. Like,
that's fair.
Like if I'm playing Ark, you know, you have like the Spectre bar and everything. When you're first doing a boss and you're trying to figure out the mechanics of the boss, and you're like constantly switching to Flora, to Spectra, to get your knockdown resistance and all that stuff. And then you're like, okay, I'm binding in 10. It's like, okay, I go to Spectra, immediately starts flashing. Oh, I have no Spectra. I cannot burst. Fuck. there goes like 80% of my DPS. And that's like the second game within the game that you didn't have to play is like, okay, how do I deal with the game, but also manage my energy bar while doing all of that. And yeah, that makes it a little bit more challenging. But once you have it down, it's muscle memory, and you just... Yeah, you remember when to switch, and you take all of the downtime as possible, stay in Spectra, in Flora as much as possible, you know. That's why I'm kind of like dreading stuff like Kaiser, because then like you're transformed for a while, and then you're out of transform, and then it takes a while to get back in. And you have one skill that gets you into transform, that's it. And for Arc is a little bit more free, because you can, you know, you have a small cooldown, but you can kind of switch in and out as much as you want, as long, you know, with some restrictions, of course, but you can switch way more freely. So I find it a nice compromise to be like a gauge class, but not be like, okay, you have to charge for an hour, and now you're transformed for 15 minutes, and then that's it, and then you have another hour of twiddling your thumbs, you know? It's a little bit less restrictive, I feel. Plus, you have a lot of cool skills that can make you fly around and everything, so you have a little bit more mobility and physical freedom, I guess, to move where you want.
Yeah. Arc is one of the classes that is quote-unquote a best in slot link skill for Dawn War. I guess it pretty much is probably for every class, just about every class.
Yeah, 16%, yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, so that'll probably be one that I make and take to 140, and that might be the one that like if we get one Terra Burninator, I'd probably use it on that to take it to 110. And then during that I'll probably take or during like Destiny I'll probably take a buck to past 200, or I meant 210, but whatever, you know what I meant. And then I'd take a buck past 200 as well, because I know there's like some like basically an event for like leveling an explorer class.
Okay. I guess we went over most of the systems. Are you okay with the Matrix and with everything in there?
Yeah, I would say so. I can't remember. I was so bad with names, but
The names of all the skills, yeah.
no, well, not even that. Like people's names. So Schmidley brought in somebody
Oh, yeah.
who's like, I think he was in your Black Mage party, Donwar.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe is what he said.
Yeah, Brandon, yeah.
Yeah, and he gave me some tips and stuff to like use for like the V matrix and stuff. Like I added a few skills. I now during bossing I trade out rope lift for blink. I just use rope lift for my bobbing rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And then was like the Empress Blessing. I didn't know that was like a huge burst skill.
Yeah. Especially when
so
it
now I use
empowers,
that.
right? That gives it even more damage percent.
And then
like
just like
phases to it, yeah.
and that's again he's again why like I'm gonna be pushing for the arc link skill a little bit too, because you hold it during burst rather than like tie to battle. You have to charge for movement. It's still nice if I don't have anything else, because I'm not necessarily going to use it to slow down my burst like when I'm using sticks and Eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still like if I'm using Celestial Dance, I'm still bouncing around the map, so
Exactly,
it'll stay
yeah.
charged. So
Most classes will end up dropping it for that very reason, because when you're bursting, you're typically standing still and chucking out as much damage as possible, and you want to optimize for the burst. But if you're standing still and you lose that stack, then it's basically a dead link skill for your burst where most of your damage is coming from. So it's usually like Nightwalkers, Dawn Warriors, right? And then there's probably a few other classes that actually keep it on, but most other people eventually phase out of that skill. They go into more solid damage dealers and guaranteed damage dealers like the Explorer Mages, like the Cadena. Those see way more play later in the game. Instead of, because I think like you have the Hayato still, right? Like the Hayato gets phased out, that kind of stuff. Hybrid Logic eventually gets phased out.
yeah. I guess looking at my V matrix, do you think that I should go for the next? So I just maxed out Celestial Dance, which gives it the maximum uptime. That's the only one that which is super nice for my mobbing.
Yeah.
I have like 15 seconds of downtime during mobbing rotations. It's so goofy.
And you have your big explosions all the time, right? So
yeah, those are super inconsistent. I don't really bank on them, but yeah, they do proc every like, I want to say like 15 seconds, 10 seconds or something when you're not in Celestial Dance.
Yep.
But I guess, would you recommend I go for maxing out what's it called, HS first before anything else? Because I don't think anything else is I guess the blessing skill for burst, but other than those two, would you recommend like focusing on boost nodes though, or anything, or like what would you think?
Well, if you are more, so in general, if you're more of a DPM character, then you definitely want to look at Weapon Aura, right? Because it gets very long uptime. I think it goes up to like, is it like 100-second uptime on a 120 cooldown or something like that? And it is final damage, you know, and the extra attack that flies out, just like those big explosions that you already have, plus the extra IED, so that is nice. But if the other skills significantly increase your training potential, then those would have priorities, but I don't think either of them do, right? It would be mainly for bossing that you would be min-maxing on it. Yeah, so either Weapon Aura or because the Weapon Aura flying out is not necessarily for mobbing anything significant in most maps where you train. Probably be either Blessing for the damage, or the, what is the second one from the top again? The level 9 one here.
Rift of Damnation. It just lets you spam sticks crossing.
Oh, that's
the big like purple skill.
Yeah. And it
doesn't increase up. All it increases, it's actually really bad to upgrade. All it increases is the damage of the so like every like so many hits, it like opens like a rip in like the map.
Oh yeah.
And it only increases the damage of that rip, I'm pretty sure, which is so it's really, honestly, I might
it's
not
like a
even take it past
min-maxy
level.
thing. Yeah.
I probably won't even take it past level 10.
I guess eventually people end up maxing it because of the damage, but if you're committing to multiple characters, then that is something that you could probably keep on lower level. I like getting Holy Symbol leveled. I'm usually not a fan of like maxing it, like blanket maxing at things, because like at the higher levels the efficiency goes down, plus the percentages are Like, I'm pretty sure if you keep it like level 21, you might be like 2% EXP and 1% drop rate under level 25 or something. So like those last few levels might be actually very, very inefficient. So usually I keep things at like low 20s and then kind of move on. Unless, like you said, like it's uptime related or cooldown reduction, you know, or a combination. Yeah. Then it would be higher priority. But yeah, I would be okay in this situation to go a little bit higher in the holy symbol. Although, I'd probably be okay with like keeping it level 18, 19, something like that. And I'm probably going more into the blessing, especially if you're looking at, you know, lucid parties and you want to make sure that you're doing that damage. It is going to augment the damage quite a lot of your, well, not necessarily of the rifts, I guess, but of the bigger skill that you have and of the eclipse, right? During the whole duration, because there's like an awakening. Did you already like awaken the skill? Because there's like an upgrading to the skill as well, and that gives even more percentage damage.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's like 2 forms for it. Goddess blessing. There's also like 3 Cygnus blessing skills that count that are almost the exact same name. There's like Empress blessing, there's Cygnus blessing, and then there's like Empress Cygnus blessing or something. It's like
that's the one that Brandon told me to use. So I'm gonna assume it's the best one.
Blessing
I don't know.
Of Maple World's Goddess. What's the name of the blue one exactly?
I don't know.
Maple.
I mean,
like
I was doing a BA and it instantly gave me like. It took me from like I was doing really bad BAs. I could probably do so much better, but it took me from like 400 something build to like mid 500 something. So like. That does add a lot of damage. And that was a level 1.
Wait, which skill was that?
That was the one that we were talking. The one that I have. I think that's the one, right? The Empress Blessing.
Yeah, but you have like Cygnus Blessing, Empress Blessing. So if you like Google, you get like some weird first job skills that give a little bit extra damage and stuff.
Oh, I got you.
Because the names are not super inspired.
I can look. I'm so dumb. I'm on MapleStory right now. I can tell you what it is.
Let's go. Let's see who finds it first.
It's called Empress Cygnus's Blessing.
Yeah, see? One is called... You have Empress Blessing, Cygnus Blessing, and Empress Cygnus's Blessing. Please awesome. Rename.
So original.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and then I'm not 100% sure, but then you have Transcendent Cygnus's Blessing as well. So that's like an empowered form of it. Can be enhanced after level 245. Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's why he was talking about that. He said 245 is a big power hike.
Yeah, because then it goes from 25% damage and then periodically restores and increases by 5% up to 90. It does 25 damage taken minus 5%, which includes proportional to max HP, so you might be able to tank like 100% hits with that, for example. And then restores 7%, and then up to 7% periodically, so up to 120%. So that's a 30% damage at the upper cap, plus some damage reduction incoming.
Okay.
I assume at 245 you get like some kind of quest, and then it just like boop, and then changes a little bit. There's a little bit more yellow in the icon, I guess. Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you, website. It stays the exact same size. Why would you do this? Okay. So that's what. Yeah, if he mentions that, that's what that was in reference to.
Yeah. I guess one other thing would be, I know you're super against Abso, but
well, I've come around a little bit, but go on. tell me what you want to know. Yeah.
Would you? So I would be able to get my Abso weapon on Sunday reset. Do you think it would be worth it? I know worth it's like a relative term, but
yeah, you've heard me complain to people a lot when I say that.
You know, I know.
No, that was almost like a trauma response. Like, okay, I know I said the word worth, but please. I know, no worries. You have it legendary, you have a good flame, and you have past 15 Star Force. The Abso weapon will be an upgrade.
Yeah.
Yes. You have No, you have 4 other. Yeah, so you complete your 5 set. Wait, was that you who was asking about like 4 set versus 5 set? No, that was for a bossing meal, right?
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it, because you're giving away the 30% boss on the potential, and you're getting back, what is it, 10 and 20 attack?
10 boss, and then and 20 attack. So I guess
and then the higher base goes to, what is it, like 206 or something?
Something like that. I'm not sure.
Sword. That means the flame goes up.
I think that's only a tier
205
flame.
Yeah.
On that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got a tier 6 boss though, so that's like keepable at that point with a little bit of strength. But if you go for Absolab, you want to aim for the tier 6, of course. Yeah.
I don't know, because it's gonna be one of those things that's like, come 5, 10, 15, if I get everything to 17 star, like I'll be very easily able to move into a lucid party, like a pretty decently strong normal lucid party.
Yep.
So like I kind of, it's just one of those things that's like another short-term gain, but I don't know how short-term.
Yeah, well, if you get a weapon drop, then it's a short-term, but otherwise you need at least like 24 drops from lucid, which even if you're doing normal, you're getting 2 drops per run at best, but you're probably getting a little bit less than that, like 1.5 or something, which means you need to do like 16 runs, so that's like 16 weeks of running,
like 4 months. Yeah,
so I think that's enough time to, well, and in that time you want to move from normal to hard, but I think that's enough time to argue for the Abso. Yeah, I would have to purely number crunch to see like the 20% damage, and then the versus the 20 attack with the base with the higher flame. We could throw a little bit of things in here. Excuse me, it's 106, 205. Oh, sorry, 160, 205, 82 attack on the 6 flame with 205, 280. You get the higher. Does anyone just have a screenshot of a 270 star? It's probably closer to like 3.
So I would be realistically losing 32 boss. That I remember now that's also another reason I kind of wanted to move into reinforced set. Even though it moves me back a little bit on getting superior, it also gives me back that boss damage that I would lose.
Yeah, because it's 13,
Abso.
A 30 ID and 15 boss, right?
Yeah. Or no, 30 boss and 15 IED. So it gives me back that 30 boss that I would be losing when switching into Abso. That I knew there was a reason, but I just couldn't remember it when we were talking about it.
Yeah, but then it's slowing down your superior gain, which would be 30-30.
Yeah.
And that's what you eventually want to go for. I think either way you'll probably be fine, but I don't know, you've got a good weapon multiplier on two-handed, and you have a lot higher base, so you have 34 more attack base, and then the flame, if you get a tier 6, that'll be 39 more attack, so you're looking at 76 more attack just from that, and then you get more attack because it's a higher level base, higher attack base, and because it's a higher level item. And you can get
and the 20 from the bonus. Or from the set bonus.
Yeah, and it's from set bonus. So I would just assume that it's worth. But yeah, I don't have 100% the number, so someone correct me if I'm wrong. Any math nerds in the chat or watching the video right now? 4-set CRA, 4-set Abso versus 3-set CRA, 5-set Abso. Where's the tipping point? Where's the break even? All right, there we go. There's a challenge for someone. Yeah, no, I think you do it, and then it goes down to epic for sure. But you have the cube sale, so boom, get right back up.
60% boss. This is hurtful.
Yeah, in the short term, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be all right though, because I'm still clearing Lotus and Damien each in like heavily under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So that really won't hinder me that much for the content I'm doing right now.
Nope.
Might let me move on to, was it Lumina sooner or whatever the next
Moonbridge, and then
Moonbridge, and then
Moonbridge at 245, and then you have Labyrinth at 250. A lot of people skip that though. And then Lumina at 255.
Well, so I was told that Labyrinth people skip it because it has like unless you have a vac pet, it sucks.
Basically, yeah, the map layouts are suboptimal, but because people skip it, it has very high level burn. So if Limina is overcrowded and you just want to get EXP, then people will go back to lab just to pick up all the free experience that's lying around there.
Yeah.
But yeah, meso rates might be shit.
Well, I mean, I have two vac pets on my Dawn Warrior, so
well, then you should be fine.
Yeah. That's why I was like, if that's really like the only reason that people don't go there is just because the platforms are tough. And I mean, that might be worth it to sit there for a minute.
Yeah, and your extra explosions for your skills might actually help you with multi-platform clearing on certain plats that you otherwise might not really get to, for example.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like the wave clear on Dawn Warrior is just so dumb. Even with like the Celestial Dance with the procs and stuff, because it has a sun proc, a moon proc, and the fire that just like engulfs like the mobs. I don't even know what it's called. It's like a 5th job skill or something, but with all that combined, it pretty much has like virtually the same wave clear as the other two 5th job skills.
Yep. Yeah, if you can get the similar wave clear and you can keep it up reliably, then that is kind of good for bossing, for like map rotations though when you're mobbing. It's
super good for that. Like I said, I only have like, that's why I say I only have like 15 or 20 seconds down, like quote unquote downtime, where actually you have to use normal mobbing. God forbid.
Yeah, I kind of try to do the same thing with Arc. You've got the spell bullets, right, which create a lot of extra bullets that fly around, so more things are just being killed by particles. And then you've got the conversion overdrive, which creates explosions every now and then that just blows that stuff up. I don't know how the hitbox is, but it's very similar to that 4th V that you guys have. And then there's just like the general goddess empowerment just to make the skills stronger that hopefully the spell bullets can actually kill, you know? And then when I rotate between that, I have, well, usually I don't do it properly, so I have like overlap. But if I would do it properly, I have somewhere just south of 10 seconds in between as well. And I think Hero does the same thing, right? Like the sword, the empowered sword, and then the Cry of Valhalla, and then the empowered sword again, and then the instinctual combo, and then back. And that's why you want to level that sword as well to get that uptime. Very similar kind of rotation to Dawn Warrior when you're mobbing. At least, you know, for the empowerment skills, not how you move and your hitboxes of your skills are very different, but yeah.
So question about like I guess it's kind of gonna depend on how lucky I am and stuff like that. For some of it, but for the cube sale, would you recommend, first off, so if you see the extra equips I have, like I've just been throwing Master Craftsman cubes at those event rings and stuff like that. And all of them are unique, and one of the face accessories, or the face accessory is unique. The aquatic eye is not. Dead Sea earrings are not. Should I just send a bunch of black cubes at them till they're all legendary?
Yeah, plan is just to make full boss drop gear here, right?
Pretty much. Well, I guess Meso gear. I need Meso gear too.
Yeah, combination set. I mean, yeah, like five Meso 4 drop.
I essentially have an extra ring with the Treasure Hunter John's ring. It is unique, but it's kind of, I guess, worst in slot out of all the other ones. I would probably make the Noble Ifas and the Silver Blossom ring, and to drop first, just because I'll get a set effect when I equip the Condensed Power and the Aquatic Eye. In the Dead Sea, I think I'll get like 7 set effects, so damage-wise, it's just probably better.
Right, you can use it for bossing, and then the other one's for Meso when you don't need as much damage.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But yeah, well, I basically just like...
Yeah, I would send black cubes, yeah. Just tear up legendary and try to get that full set on the go, yeah. Especially now with the spiders, you're already like taking a little bit out of your rates, right, compared to where you could be, so you want to make up for that. But if you can go to Moonbridge and you got your Vec Pad and you've got the Meso and the drop rate, you're going to be starting to make really big money. Yeah, and you have a lot of money in spell traces as well, right? You're just like hoarding for visual effects, or you know you can NPC them, right?
Yeah, no, I just honestly, I've too many times I've just like spent like all my mesos on like black cubes or tearing up or whatever.
I totally get it. Yeah.
And
then you can't re-roll. Yeah, no, I've been there. Yeah. So you have something that you can NPC so that you can always have it on the back burner to at least use your cubes. Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, it is 30-day cubes though, so you have a little bit of time to make your money back. But yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, or you keep like, I think my mom, what she does is she keeps a little bit of money on a character she never logs into, so that she always has like some kind of money she can run back to.
Yeah, that's only a few hundred mil there, but like that should be enough to at least get like something, you know? Like
even if you count 500k, you count like 500k per roll. You know, if you have 100 mil, that's 200 rolls. So that could get you. That's already like 7 packs of cubes you can go through. So that's decent.
Yeah.
No, the cube sale isn't for 30 days. It's 1 day, but the cubes themselves that you buy during the sale last for 30 days. So you have time to make back the money, is what I meant. Yeah. Sorry.
I guess another question would be, so I can make another Meistering, and I'm pretty close to being able to make another Meistering.
Okay.
Do you think, one, I should just hold those for when I get Superior and use them as fodder? Well, I need to do Princess Snow. I don't even do Princess Snow.
Princess Snow is basically
free fodder.
Yeah, so Meister is nice. If you don't need Meisters, always try to just use the kind of treasures first, because you're as long as you don't craft the Meisters, you basically have tradable rings, right? You can put them on, or transferable rings. You can put them on other characters that maybe get unluckier with the kind of treasures. So that depends on how much you're spreading yourself in with rather than in depth on your account. If you're just going fully in depth, then you just make all the Meisters here that you can make whatever. You'll get them. You know, you can use them themselves, transfer into Superior for slime later. Like you'll be needing a bunch of them anyway. And the more you have, the less you have to safeguard, so the more money you save that way, and then you get more value out of the primals. But if you are trying to, you know, kind of juggle multiple characters or maybe keep that door open, then you definitely want to do Princess Snow as much as possible. Big drop rate there, and that, you know, by extension of that, that's why that drop rate gear is usually advised to get like 15 to 20 levels before now. When you know that you are going to commit to your character, because then you can start doing like, you know, normal arc. You get those superior, the Dominator pendants, you get the primals, you get the Kana treasure rings, like those where you do need a lot of backup for 3 stages, right? For themselves, for transfer, and then for double transfer later, eventually, or, you know, maybe. Getting started with those and having that extra drop rate there, plus the extra flames and the cubes that come off of killing with drop rate, and then helping that trickle down onto your other characters and fund your bossing mules without needing direct cash, so that your direct cash can keep going to your main character to improve. That does, yeah, it's worth its weight in gold for sure. Not quite like, you know, a set with 10 drop and 5 meso combined, you know, like not a set like that. That takes a long ass time to be worth its money, because then you're looking at like 6 double line items, right? But just like a 5 meso 4 drop is definitely worth, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just what I'm just trying to fill out every slot with. I mean, that Meistering that I have now, I'm pretty much. I guess my question was, should I craft another one? I mean, I guess with the event rings, as long as I roll like even 15% all or 15% strength, like I should be just fine with those for now.
Mm-hmm. Are you keeping up Meister?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have like days on it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably have like, how much is decay a day? Like 8k or something like that.
Well, if you craft every within every 18 hours, then it doesn't decay at all. So if you make something in the morning, something in the evening, then you should always be fine. And it keeps going up, yeah. And then eventually you forget.
4,000 over.
Yeah.
Over the thing, so I have a few days at least.
Yeah, That should be. There's quite a few days. I don't know exactly if you completely stop how long that takes, but I imagine probably like 5-6 days or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I basically just wait until I have enough of the yellow crystals or whatever. I think they're advanced crystals, maybe. I don't know, the yellow ones.
Yellow ones.
And then I craft the
intermediate ones.
Intermediate, and then I craft the face accessories.
Yeah.
And that gives you like 27,000 or something.
It gives some crazy.
And then that just holds me over a few days if I craft all of them.
Yeah, some people I think. Well, aren't there some rings? What did I do from Meister? I think I just went Meister, made a bunch of rings, and then just dipped. I think is what I did. I don't remember exactly. Because the rings themselves give a whole lot as well when you craft one. They've got like a long ass cooldown. Well, so what I would say is you technically don't need them until you're planning to like, you know, send a whole bunch of money past 17, maybe like in the summer. So I wouldn't necessarily craft them yet right now, because what if you get lucky until the summer, find a whole bunch of kind of treasures, then you can just go ham on those, keep the primals, and have them as a resource maybe for the Wind Archer or for another character that might come up that you're like, hey, this character's actually really fun, I want to take this one to, you know, maybe into the 230s, into the 240s potentially. Then you can have a jump start with that one.
So you think just keep that Meistering as drop gear like it is for now? Should I get it to 17 star? You think that's really worth it, I guess?
Yeah, the thing that so usually when it comes to like making drop, making damage gear, distinction between all of that, I am a big advocate of just saying all rings are exactly the same, and the potential determines what the function of the ring is, basically. If you you definitely want to get damage on the superior, but even that is only if you have the whole set. If you don't have the whole set and your superior ring is like 20% meso and 6% strength or something, then cool, that's just a meso ring now. They're all going to do roughly the equivalent. You're going to be very, very close in how much damage they provide. The Blossom Ring and the EFS Ring are a little bit lower, but they have set bonuses to compensate for that. So they're all very close together and not really worth making a distinction. You probably get them to 17, but they would be on the lower priority. So maybe if you run out of money on the other stuff, then it doesn't get there. But I'd probably eventually just get them all to 17, yeah. Just to get them on that level of the event rings, and then the potential just kind of determines where they go. And then when you really have everything legendary, everything 17 star, everything 2 lines, maybe a little bit better, you have the full Abzo and all that going on, and you have the superior set, and you're transposing the pendant, then you can be like, okay, now we are cutting, like, this is drop. This is like drop meso combination. This is maybe extra if you on drop, right? Maybe like 3 or 4 items from meso you switch around to drop, so you're not stuck on 80%, but maybe you go to 140, 160 from your equip, something like that. And then this is purely for damage. Then you make that distinction, and then you re-roll again. But in that time, you've made so much money from having the drop in meso gear the whole time that investment is a reasonable one.
Okay.
And then the next step is go past 17 star, and then if you still need more Meister rings, then you can craft those. And if you have a bunch of Kana treasures by then, you use the Kana treasures instead.
Okay. I'll probably start doing Pinot. I kind of was waiting. I guess I could start doing it on my Dawn Warrior, but I was kind of waiting for to do all those free quests for Destiny and stuff. And I was just gonna do my Wind Archer and Dawn Warrior just for the extra Meso and stuff like that. But I could realistically just unlock them on my Dawn Warrior, and then they'll hopefully.
Yeah, it's 5 more chances, right? 5 more chances of a kind of treasure before then.
Yeah, and then if I work on the drop gear this week, hopefully increase those chances.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, capitalize on it a little bit harder.
Yeah. I guess with flames and stuff, do you think I should? I'm kind of going the right route of just at least throw the rainbows on my Dawn pendant. Not the one I'm wearing, but the extra one.
Yeah, priorities. So yeah,
to get that transposed.
Yeah, if you don't have any high priority items, then it's just Eternals and Powerfuls are basically the same. If you have high priority items, I would say that's items you want to transpose because you're looking for an endgame flame, right? So that's going to be disproportionately more expensive. Or for a weapon where flames are just so much more impactful. So if you say oh, I'm going to get that Absolab weapon soon and I'm going to move into that, maybe then throw some Eternals at that first, get something nice there. Okay. And once that has something nice, you go back to the Dawn Pendant. Because again, the Dawn Pendant and the transposing, that comes in when everything is 17, everything is legendary, and the superior set is complete, right? You're still a ways out from that, so there's not as much pressure right now on a good flame on the Dawn Pendant. Absolab weapon would take precedent over that. But once Absolab weapon is gone, the only other things that you could be flaming would be if you luck into a pet mark, but it would be on the same level as a Dawn Pendant basically. Or it would be let's say that you just want to get a decent flame on your current Abzo gear. Just have something a little bit more workable, the glove flame is pretty bad. The shoe could be improved a little bit. Probably look for an 85 or so flame score on all of those. Something similar to the cape is pretty good. If you get that on the shoe and the glove as well, then you can move on from those. And then what's your CRA? Yeah, your CRA pants are, of course, typical warrior flame. 64 int and 6 all stat.
Dude, I'm the smartest warrior in the game, I swear.
Top's got some magic attack, yeah. Yeah, the hat and the top are pretty decent.
Yeah, the pants could use a little
yeah,
bit.
and the pants could use
I think
maybe a little bit of help, but it's okay-ish.
I think
But
my number was like 70 that I was just like going for like
yeah,
because it's like good enough to where it's not gonna hinder me necessarily, but it's definitely not end game by any stretch of the imagination.
no, for sure. What's your cup at? Do you know that? Because I think the picture was lost in the transfers.
It is. I thought I put it on there. Maybe I redid that one. It's pretty bad. It's 16, 5, and 4. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so I would probably do the so like weapon. If you have like regular powerfuls, yeah, you were talking about like you just throw them on as you get them. What I like to do is group up the ones that I get, and then wait until kind of like they start blinking. And it's like, oh, they're gonna expire, and then do like a session with all the flames that I have. That way, you can also settle for something that's not that much worse than what you started with, and you can just start saving up again. So you can like decrease the chance that you actually get left with like a 5 flame score, and you can increase the chance that you make an upgrade within that one session. But I guess the downside is you could have sat on the perfect flame and you only get it like 4 days later or something. That's like the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, I think like with the most of the stuff I'm throwing flames at, like I guess everything, the Dom Pen is really all I've been throwing them at. I don't have it equipped, so it's like kind of one of those things. It's like I can just throw at it and not like worry about it. But I do like wait until I have like, you know, like a row or so. I just threw all of the ones from, I did all my weeklies yesterday on my window tray, on my dumbware. So I just threw everything I got at it. And then like I do the same with cubes. Like once I get like once I do all my weeklies and stuff, I'll just throw the cubes onto some like whatever is like epic and try to get it unique off those 3 cubes.
And then maybe a cult for something okay if when they don't. I was gonna say if they don't, but when they don't.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky with Mastercraft.
Yeah, you got a lot of uniques. Yeah, I'm assuming that most of that is just Master Craftsman's popping off,
pretty
right?
Sure, just about all of that is. I mean, pretty close to it.
That's good.
Are
you gonna be buying the heart?
Yes, I will be. That's kind of what I was gonna do. What I was gonna save for after the 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, for sure.
I have plenty of time, so there's no sense in
definitely
earning 2 bill now for events.
Yeah,
I do that. I already
kind of.
burned,
you know, if you're gonna use the cubes from the cube sale on it, then and you have plenty of money, you know, then maybe. But if you're gonna get into rough waters with the heart is still the cheapest item out of all the items to cube, so it's not the biggest deal if you don't have the cubes for that. Eventually, you know, you'll get good rates on there. Yeah,
not as many like trash lines and stuff on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I already wasted like 2 bill when I got the cape this week. So dumb for that. That flame costs like honestly it's pretty above average, I'd say, but that flame probably costs like 70 reds, maybe 75, so it's like not bad.
Well, how do you know
like
if it's bad or not?
Flame calculator?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think it's like just shy of 100, which isn't, for me, I would say is like, if I had them all there, like that's pretty like good, I would say, you know?
50, 25, and 5, so that comes out to 75. That's not right. I'm on a dex. I need to be on a strength character. There you go. 97.5.
Yeah.
Put 97. Well, I guess let's put 97 here.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
So it says here 800 mil to 1.5 will. Median flames 84. So if you spend 70, then you got lucky, and you got an above average flame for that.
Cool.
That's how you can kind of see if you were, you know, in the ballpark or if you were way off or super lucky, super unlucky.
And I blew up a cape, one of the Ronmaru capes.
Oh yeah.
I literally failed like 10 at 16, and then it blew up. Or like 15 to 16, and I was so mad.
Yeah.
Because
that's usually why I just sit on them for 5, 10, 15. Like
I know I should. It's only 2 weeks away, and I had a Tyrant cape that like wasn't much worse. So it's so dumb.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. But you like get a new piece, and you just like
yeah, you want to wear it. Yeah. I get it. Okay. We're only a little bit over time, but is there anything else you want to go over you feel like we need to address a little bit more, or any shout outs you want to do? You want to say hi to your mom? I don't know.
Yo, shout out Smidley, shout out Kyle, shout out Mirio, yo, shout out Scar Mom. She's the GOAT. No, I guess one last thing would be like, just to clarify, because I heard you guys talking about it. If I do somehow luck into a good Dom Pennant Flame,
Yep.
I'm supposed to have it at 16 stars to try to transpose it?
Yep.
Okay. I don't really need to know why. Just if that's the best time.
Yeah,
to
there's some
transpose it,
bonus
then.
stats on transference, and then since the other item is higher level, it gets better bonus stats from the stars there, so it kind of, you know, it just comes out mathematically to that just being the optimal amount, basically.
Okay. And then say I do end up, I'll probably run one more totem before the cube sale. I'm gonna play Rust later. Rust wipe at 2 p.m.
Okay, okay. Good luck. Oh, wipe with the whole server wipe. You gotta start over.
Yeah, in like 12 minutes.
Okay.
But so if I do end up wasting all my money on the cube sale, like I probably have like 11 bill. Do you think like, so like I said, I should be able to recoup about 7 bill if I do a totem every day on the weekdays next week, with the new Meso gear. Should be pretty easy to get around that, with like the dailies and like Ursus and stuff.
For sure.
Do you think that'll be enough to take all my gear to 17? It's obviously RNG. I know it's like super hard to tell.
Well, a lot of it is already 16, so I think that'll be enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's 15 that I'm gonna take to 17. So you think that should be plenty?
Yeah, you've got some. If you get unlucky with the safeguard Absolabs, then it can go really hard. But on average,
it's like 100
I think
something.
Yeah, on average, I think you're looking at like somewhere between 6.5 and 9 or something, or like if you get more extreme on the safeguarding point, it's like closer to between 7.5 and 11 or something. So if you're like around 8 to 9, there's a very decent shot that you could get everything done. And if not, then at least the stuff will be at 16, and a few items will, you know, have to go later. And then, you know, in the summer we'll get bigger events, and then you just finish things up to 17,
shining.
and then you send the CRA to their grave. I was gonna say to 21, but you probably send it to their grave a few times first.
That is for sure.
That's gonna be the next big jump.
Should I? So with that, I can do all 3 CRA, right? Because like because when the Abso set was like spread out, like obviously like there was like a point where the hat was like best in slot at some point or something like that. But
yeah,
but now like
we would do like the hat with the arcane weapon to like keep the 5 set for Abso, but now you don't do that anymore. Because you just lose, and you tend to have like a higher Star Force hat by then anyway. So you're like going down into Abso to go back up into the hat later once you switch the Abso back into the arcane anyways. Like, nah, you just stick to the CRA hat.
Okay, cool. Just double checking that. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying I'm going for even 17 anytime soon, but you know, double check on that.
Yeah, you know, future planning. Okay, well, good shit. Yeah, well, best of luck on the cubing, and then on the star forcing later. Hope you see big gains. And yeah, I guess refrain from the reinforced so you can get to your superior faster. I know those are very tempting stats to jump into, but superior is definitely what you want to have. So a little bit more patience, Padawan, and then you can start cashing in hardcore. But yeah, it's probably after the 5-10-15 that you want to start looking for, see where your IED and your crit rate and stuff is at, right? And then see if you want to redo your emblem. That's probably around that point. Yeah. And then the big expenses will be in summer, so then you kind of just hoard your money.
Yeah, maybe try to go for the 20 stars and the 21 star on the CRA or whatever, just because those are I'll probably have the most backups by far for that.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. And hopefully some kind of treasure rings by then.
Hopefully. Hey, that's the goal.
Yep. All right. Well, best of luck.
All right. Thank you.
And I'll see you around the chat.
All right. Yes, sir.
All right. Bye. All right. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, we went over everything pretty in depth, I think. He's sitting on 2,600 Lachaline coins for some reason. Hopefully he's not forgetting that he can level up his Lachaline symbol. but maybe he's saving his money for that. I don't know. Probably saving his money from the level ups. So yeah, if you are in a similar situation, of course you're looking at, you know, where do I spend my money on the cube sale? There's a 5.10.15 coming. We have the possibility of big events in the summer. A lot of question marks, a lot of possibilities there. So hopefully this gives you some insight for your personal situation on how you can prioritize within those things, using the calculators, looking at the expected costs that can help you have an extra tool to decide what your priority should be and where you should wait or send, basically. If you are interested in these sessions, make sure that you leave a comment that you would like to win, because I give 2 of these away for free every month, and you can win them by leaving a comment that you would like to win. As for last month's winner, I did message you guys, but it seems that people have either forgotten that they messaged or they have lost interest. But make sure you check the replies to your comments as well, because that's like the way that, or I guess, okay, starting this month, reply with your Discord name, okay, that you would like to win, and mention your Discord name in the comments so I can message you on Discord directly. I think that's easier to get a hold of you than through YouTube. Plus, then I already have the right name as well, so nobody can like say that they were the other person. Because I realized that could happen, but of course I have too cool and too good of viewers and too nice of people in my community that nobody has done that so far. But yeah, just comment with your Discord name and that you would like to win, okay? If you don't like the win, or you don't want to put your hand in a lottery, you can check the description of the video on how you can request one of these sessions for you for free. And if you are interested in any of the information that you saw here, you can find it actively in my commands in the Twitch chat. And that's where they will be available for now and for always. And they're completely free available for anyone who wants them. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll see you on the next video, or I'll see you live during the Twitch stream. Thanks for watching. Bye.